Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Oner First Thoughts. This week on the show, we are talking about Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. I guess it's not called Avatar 3. It's just called Avatar, Fire and Ash, but it is the third film in James Cameron's massive blockbuster franchise, Avatar, that takes place on Pandora. All your favorite characters are back. Jake Sully and Neytiri and the scientist guys and the Quaritch guy, you know, the Stephen Lang character who they just won't move on to another villain. They're just like, how about this guy for all of the movies? And that's fine. He's back. Yeah, this is first thoughts, so this means we do a spoiler-free kind of just first reaction to the film. I saw this movie last night, and my general feelings are I don't have a popular take on this film. Obviously, the audience response on Rotten Tomatoes right now is like almost at 100%. The critic score is significantly lower, but it's still like trending around like a 7 out of 10. You know, most critics are saying it's good enough. And I guess I could say that too. I could say, hey, if you're a fan of these films, if you really love spending several hours on Pandora and you really love the world that James Cameron has built here, I imagine you're going to enjoy Avatar Fire and Ash. I don't like it. That's my feeling. I don't know why this movie exists other than to make a whole bunch of money. But boy, it also costs so much money. I just wish there was a reason why we needed 5 sequels to the first Avatar film. I remember hearing that when they were like, James Cameron wants to make like 4 or maybe 5 sequels to the Avatar movie. And I was like, feels like the first one's kind of like, yeah, that's it. That's a beginning, middle, and end. Movie's over. You know, it's Dances with Wolves in space. It's Ferngully, and it's fine. Don't know why you would need to do a sequel. And then when I saw Avatar: The Way of Water, it's like kind of just the same movie. It's just like, hey, the sky people come back, and the Na'vi have to defend Awa, the spirit of Pandora. They have to defend their planet from the extractionary, money-hungry, capitalist sky people again. It's just the same movie with the same villain. They've got a family now. Like we're like, oh, there's a new tribe, the water people. There's some interesting stuff. There's some interesting imagery. I rewatched Avatar: The Way of Water before going and watching Avatar: Fire and Ash because I hadn't seen Fire and Water since I saw it in the theater. I just didn't really care for that movie either. It was fine, but I just was like, I don't need to ever watch this ever again. But I rewatched it because I wanted to make sure I remembered all of the things that happened, so I wasn't like watching Fire and Ash going, what's going on? Like they're referencing something for the second movie. But I'll tell you, getting through the second movie again was a chore for me. And then watching the third movie, I had heard this. I had seen in a few different reviews from online reviewers that the third movie is like very similar narratively to the second one, almost frustratingly so. I was not prepared. Like, having just watched Avatar: Fire and Water, I could not believe how similar structurally and narratively Avatar 3 is. I couldn't believe how few new ideas or new things they had for this. I just was kind of like, you want to make 5 sequels, and first of all, I didn't feel like you had enough juice to justify the existence of The Way of Water. The entire third act of Avatar Fire and Ash, again, not going to spoil anything or tell you anything other than that, the third act of this film is like almost identical to the third act of the second. I literally was watching it going like, it's the exact same. There were several scenes in Avatar Fire and Ash that are like almost beat for beat the exact same scene from something in the second movie. A lot of people say with the Avatar franchise, they just go, the point of the franchise. It's everyone knows that the dialogue's not great and that they're not like it's not masterful writing, and you're just supposed to just enjoy the visuals and enjoy the beautiful world and enjoy the technical mastery of James Cameron and the team over at Weta Digital and what they've been able to create. You're just supposed to enjoy like the technical marvel that is Pandora and the Na'vi people and how photorealistic everything works. I'll be completely honest about this. This is like the Avatar franchise's calling card, is their special effects. I said this when Kramer and I talked about Predator Badlands, because Predator Badlands is a movie similar to Avatar where like most of the film is CGI. It all takes place on an alien planet in alien environments with alien creatures that are like 90% computer generated. And I felt like everything in Predator Badlands really looked real and tangible. And I bought it. I believed in it. And I said it to Kramer at the time. I said, there's another movie coming out later this year that is very similar to Predator Badlands in that it's, all on an alien planet with all alien creatures. It's Avatar, and I have a feeling I'm going to think Predator Badlands is a lot better than Avatar once I see both movies. I definitely feel that way, and even in this visual aspect of like, well, the big calling card of Avatar, even if you hate the story or you feel like the screenplay doesn't have anything new to say, or you feel like they're absolutely wasting your time and your money, the big calling card is, isn't it pretty to look at? And I saw this movie in 3D, which is like how James Cameron wants you to see it in the theater. And I could not trick my brain to believe that it looked good. Like I was trying so hard to believe that it didn't look like a video game, to like trick my brain into believing that it looked photorealistic and that the visual effects were impressive. And I just was like, no, it's just not that impressive, especially every time a live action character shows up. Every time Edie Falco or Giovanni Ribisi or the kid who plays Spider or Sigourney Weaver or any live action actor shows up in this movie, it kind of has that uncanny weird feeling of like the Star Wars prequels, like Attack of the Clones, where just it's sort of like Ewan McGregor, who's the only live action actor in a fully digital environment, and it just feels sort of like Space Jam. It just feels like a live actor in a cartoon, because that's what these movies ultimately wind up feeling like to me visually. I don't watch them and go, wow, the visual world is so breathtakingly realistic. I feel like that looks like a real place I could visit. It looks good for a video game or good for an animated movie. If you said this is, if Avatar was just an animated film and all of the human characters were also animated, similar to the Na'vi, I would go, wow, this is a really, really beautiful animated film. But because it's all supposed to be real and like 99.9% of the stuff that is quote unquote in camera is all animated, I can't convince myself to believe that it doesn't look like I'm watching cutscenes from a video game, and a not particularly well written video game at that. I did not like Avatar Fire and Ash very much at all. I couldn't even enjoy the aspects of it that are just supposed to be like, turn your brain off and enjoy this action sequence. There were a handful of things that I thought were interesting. Obviously, the thing that is being marketed really heavily is that there's a new tribe on Pandora that we're being introduced to. Just like the last movie, we were introduced to the water people. In this film, we are introduced to the ash people. This is a big problem in this film, though, because it's the one new thing the third movie has, and the ash people are very interesting. It's a compelling idea, but the movie just sort of uses them as like a footnote. They're just sort of like a prop for they don't do anything with them. And I just was like, well, why have the movie named after them and make such a big stink about them in your marketing if you're not actually going to do anything with them, if they're just going to sort of like be there, and if Stephen Lang is still just going to be the main bad guy. I obviously have a lot more to talk. I have a lot more things to say on the matter, and we will get into it deeper when Kramer and I talk about it on the full episode with spoilers, so stay tuned for that breakdown. But I have a feeling Kramer agrees with me on this one, but I'll let him speak for himself. Here we go. Take it away, bud.
Thank you. Avatar Fire and Ash. Okay. So we did a prediction about this last year, about a year ago. And my prediction and Austin's prediction was pretty much the same. I'm sure we'll get into it in the full podcast, but we both predicted that this would make a lot of money, but that we wouldn't really like it, that it's pretty just standard stuff. And I predicted I wouldn't like it, but I predicted it would be in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time and in the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. Uh, I, I was correct. I didn't really love it, but we'll see if it gets into the top 5. It probably will. It's already making a ton of money. This is definitely a movie series that I just don't connect with all that well. I will have to say, Avatar Fire and Ash I enjoyed it a lot more than Way of Water. I didn't love Way of Water. I actually really thought there were some huge problems and it was way too long. This movie is also still way too long. It drags on. Every scene is about 3 or 4 minutes too long. And there's way too many storylines going on. There's way too many characters. The antagonist, the fire Navi woman, she was awesome. I really liked her, but then she's not in the movie as much as she should have been. And there's just too much going on. There's too much going on in this movie, and it is far too long. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that you should know about this movie. If you like the other Avatar movies, you're going to love it. Okay. If you like spectacle, you're going to love it. There's a lot of things that are really enjoyable about this movie. I saw it in IMAX 3D. I hate 3D. It takes me out of the movie the entire time. I just can't. It's also very dark. You put on sunglasses, so the image is very dark, and that just doesn't. I don't love that. I did say to my friends after this movie, I said that was the best video game cutscene that I've ever seen, because it very much feels like a video game. This is shot in variable frame rates. There are times when it's 24 and then times when it's 48, and there might be even more than that. But I don't like the variable frame rates. It pulls me out again because I can notice when there's a change, and it does not work for me. If you don't, but here's the thing too about me: when I turn my brain off just completely, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things that you can do. Now, once you turn it on and once you start thinking about everything, it really falls apart. But if you're just looking for a good time, if you just want to go and see a really cool movie that has great visual effects, go for it. You're going to do that. Now, I think universally, everybody I've talked to knows that the dialogue is horrible. The dialogue in this is especially bad. And just the themes aren't landing exactly how they should have. It's structured very well, but there's still a lot of problems. So if you love these movies, you're going to love it. I think a lot of general audiences are going to like it. I think they're going to have a lot of fun. My recommendation, if you don't like 3D, don't see it in 3D. It's just not. I mean, the 3D is better than everything else. James Cameron knows how to shoot in 3D, but it pulls me out of the movie. So I would say don't see it in 3D. If you can see it in IMAX 2D, that'd be great. There's a lot of great visuals. I mean, again, though, this is basically an animated movie. The visuals are good, but they don't pull me into the story. They're not. It's just kind of like, hey, look at this, and it's like, okay, cool, but the story is lacking. The visuals aren't lacking. The story is lacking. And so and the characters are lacking. There's a lot of things they could have. Anyway, we'll get into it. Me and Austin will get into this movie. It'll be very interested to see what he thinks. But if you're just looking for a good time, turn off your brain, go see a James Cameron movie. He knows how to entertain. I found this much more entertaining than the last one. Some fun stuff, some really cool things. But again, I don't think these movies really need to be made. I think it's not as expansive as Star Wars. Star Wars, I can see how you could have so many different stories. This is just the same story retold over and over. The 3 films don't really have much difference between them. But we'll get into more of that. So if you're like me, then you don't need to see it. It's pretty much the same thing. But if you really just want a fun popcorn blockbuster movie, go and see it. I think it's going to make a ton of money still. We'll see. Never bet against James Cameron. It will be interesting to see if it makes more than Way of Water or less. I think audiences are responding a little better to it, but I don't know. the Rotten Tomato score is kind of going down, but that's for critics. So I'm very interested to see what happens with the box office of this movie. So anyway, those are my thoughts, and we'll see you on the next one.